What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your flying locomotive and faster than a speeding bullet SuperCliff, coming at you live with a brand new video. So for today's video, I want to talk about Star Wars The Acolyte. Last night, I finally watched the first 2 episodes, and as someone who is not in any way hyped for the show, as someone who, within the online culture nerd war aspect of things, considers themselves neutral, I think The Acolyte currently, as it stands, a 6 or 5 out of 10. However, I want to be fair and bring nuance. I don't think the show is a success. The Acolyte is a clear example of what's wrong with LucasFilm and what's also wrong with Disney+. I think the Rotten Tomatoes score for the critics is absolutely ridiculous. It's not a 91%, nor is it a 31%. I say it's a strong 50. Now don't worry, this is not going to be an anti-woke video, nor is this going to be a, hey, if you didn't like it, you're a bigot video. Both sides can touch grass. It's going to be a fair take on The Acolyte. However, before we get into Star Wars shenanigans and talk about the fate of a galaxy far, far away, if you are new to the channel, then smash that like and subscribe button. That way you guys never miss out on anything that happens on this majestic channel. So what are you waiting for? Let's raise the bar and go full on Super Saiyan. Hit that subscribe button. And also there's going to be spoilers in this video, so there you go. Let's start with the positives. This show takes place 100 years prior to Episode 1. It completes and totals of an era. The era of the HighRepublic, the golden age where the Jedi were at their highest level of power, and the Republic itself, the political nature of politics, aside from raiders and whatnot, overall the galaxy is a pretty chill place. Now, I love this for many reasons. In terms of the Star Wars timeline, we need to expand and tell stories in different eras. One of the issues that people, including myself, have with the current Star Wars is their unwillingness to be creative. A lot of their stories, 90% of them, are happening during the Imperial era. And even with the sequel trilogy, despite it being 30 years later after Return of the Jedi, it's essentially a newer version of the original movies. The First Order, they are basically the Empire. They just have bigger ships, bigger weapons, and cleaner armor. And the Resistance look like the Rebel Alliance, but with green. And because this show takes place a century before the prequels, there's no pre-existing characters in the show. Obviously, if you're paying attention to lore and the canon timeline, you know that Yoda, Yaddle, and Master Oppo Ronsensis are alive around this time. But so far the cast are new. Therefore, there's not going to be any legacy characters who get shitted on by terrible writing. There's not going to be a Boba Fett who gets nerfed, an Obi-Wan who doesn't kill Darth Vader for a second time, or a Luke who wanted to kill his nephew because of a bad dream. The Acolyte also succeeds with its on-location filming. I fucking hate the volume. I think it ruins an audience's ability to be immersed. It's a cheap and easy way for non-talented filmmakers, so whenever in today's TV movie making world, anytime something is filmed on an actual set, on an actual place, a forest or desert, I have to give it flowers because it really helps with the immersion process. It's not the best of the best when it comes to good-looking Star Wars, but it's way better than Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. When it comes to the lore and the knowledge of the Star Wars universe, the show gets it. For example, the Barish Vow, a meditative state a Jedi undergoes in order to find peace. The first time we see this was in Charles Soule's Darth Vader series in issue number 3. I like this because it's adding merit to the comics, which I believe the Marvel Star Wars comics are pretty legit, but also the world building. It's showing a different practice a Jedi can use. Another positive is the casting of Lee Jong-jae, aka the Squid Game guy, as Master Soul. Lee's presence as this character, a Jedi Master who, similar to Qui-Gon Jinn, doesn't like how the Jedi have basically become political pawns, a police force, agents of peace. Rather than following protocol, Soul would rather trust his instincts, his goodness, and wanting to do the right thing. Not in a reckless or fuck the rules kind of way, but as a Jedi who follows his heart. Yet he trusts in the Force, but also trusts in himself and in people, which is something at this point in time not a lot of Jedi, share. Okay, now that I've given the show its flowers, let's talk about the bad. At times, the Acolyte comes across as, hey, look at us, we're being clever, which it's not. The show is very obvious with its twists and turns. Episode 1, they try to shock us with the reveal that Osha has a twin sister named May, and that May is the actual person murdering the Jedi, aka she's the Acolyte. The characters are flat, no one stands out insanely well. A great example is the character of Yord. Nothing he does offends me, gets me excited, or annoyed. He's simply just there to say words. Same as for Vernestra Ra, however you say it. She's also flat. Aside from Soul, given what he has to work with, he probably does it the best way. And like, again, it's not the best dialogue, but the way that he delivers it, you can feel the emotion within it. Whereas everyone else, they execute their lines to a met level. The writing in terms of the plot has potential. There's interest, not dying interest, but there's interest nonetheless. However, the dialogue is shit. It sounds as if AI wrote the script. Now, me personally, I'm writing a fantasy novel, and by no means am I the next J.R. Tolkien. But as someone who's, not part of the Writers Guild, someone who's considered amateur, it's obvious that the script is trying to sound like Star Wars. The Sith Lord, his ending monologue speech in episode 1 is straight up cliche and bad. Like, imagine you person watching this video decided to do a creative writing exercise. You write down some words that a Sith Lord would probably say. For example, steel breaks the light. Darkness breathes truth. I made that up in 5 seconds. Sounds like something a Sith Lord would say, right? That's literally the dialogue in the show. Draft 1 dialogue. Like, I don't know, maybe the script needed like a couple more drafts. Now, I will say in terms of plotting, characters getting to one place to another, the plot progression, it's much better than Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. But let's be honest, it's not that hard to be better than those shows. And at the same time, there's still inconsistencies with how characters act and react. Why did Osha have to break off from the group when investigating the Jedi Master murder scene? Was it to bring speculation to the episode because we, the audience, and the characters already know that Osha isn't the murderer? So now you as the episode, you're just wasting time. Hey, this guy who's helping May kill Jedi, this dude is the poison supplier. He literally has a hand in murder. But instead of arresting the guy or detaining him after using him as bait to draw out May, rather than have a Jedi guard posted at the apothecary store that he works at, let's just not pay attention to him. Let's not arrest him. Let's just hope he stays in one place. Oh wait, he doesn't. He escapes with May on beginner level. Another problem I have is the lightsaber controversy. Prior to Disney Star Wars, there were consequences when getting stabbed or sliced by a lightsaber. When Luke gets his hand cut off in Empire Strikes Back, it affects him. Not only does he get a robotic hand as a result, but the missing hand is a symbol, a reminder that because of Luke's recklessness, not being ready to face Darth Vader, his impulsiveness resulted with him losing a hand, thus becoming a lesson for the character. In terms of death, Qui-Gon Jinn gets stabbed. He dies. The younglings at the Jedi Temple during Order 66, they get stabbed and they die. Except for Reva. Darth Sidious kills 3 Jedi Masters in the span of 3 seconds. They get sliced and they die. Hell, Seer in Jedi Survivor, she gets stabbed and dies. But in live-action Disney Star Wars, if someone gets stabbed, they walk it off. But now with Master Indara, after getting stabbed with a fucking knife, a throwing dagger, she dies. What the fuck? What are the rules of the Star Wars universe? I understand the Acolyte hasn't or has yet to show us someone surviving a lightsaber stab, but at the end of the day, Star Wars is a universe of stories. LucasFilm needs to be consistent. What works and what doesn't? Are the writers paying attention? Because it doesn't seem like they are. And that's really my overall problem with the show. It doesn't seem that the writers, the people who developed the show, it doesn't feel like enough effort was made. This show cost $180 million, 8 episodes, 30 minutes a pop. House of the Dragon Season 1 cost $200 million, 10 episodes, an hour each, better sets, better writing, acting, plot, CGI. We obviously know where the money went for that show. How on earth did The Acolyte cost $180 million? And is this truly the final product? What the fuck? Like, where's the quality? Where's the effort, the passion, the love? I'm not saying everyone who worked on The Acolyte didn't care. I'm sure folks did. But at the end of the day, this is a streaming show. This is a Disney product. People are paying money in a time where things are very expensive. Disney, being a huge worldwide company with a status, a company with a reputation for generational storytelling, shouldn't the consumer get the best product? Because let me tell you something, if Bob Iger can stand on stage and admit he is proud of the final product that is The Acolyte, Disney Plus will fail. It's that simple. One last thing I want to point out, and this has nothing to do with the show itself, but I do believe instances such as this one are the reason people are overly hating the show. Whether that's fair or not, it's a thing I want to point out. That is the Acolyte gay situation. Look, I don't care whether someone is gay, straight, black, white. I don't give a shit. With that said, I understand fandoms are toxic. I understand Star Wars is divisive. But the interview conducted by The Wrap, in me looking at it from a marketing point of view, It's a bad look. Essentially, the interviewer asks Leslie Headland, the showrunner, about the show being gay, featuring a lot of queer symbolisms and whatnot. And a lot of the cast are openly gay, queer, and all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know who the interviewer's name is, but it's clear that the man is gay. And so basically, after Leslie's response and Amanda Steinberg saying that nerds are gay, meaning that, some nerds are gay, the interviewer says, well, some nerds are not very gay and are very threatened by them. Now, let's be honest. There's pieces of shit in every fandom, especially in Star Wars. But that's not the reason people don't like Star Wars. It's the mad product Disney is providing. I believe instances such as this interview, or even folks on social media basically saying if you don't like The Acolyte, you're probably a bigot, that is just simply not true. And folks, people I talk to online and in person, school and work, etc., I've talked to enough people where they're just tired of being placed into little categories. If one person doesn't like The Acolyte, that doesn't mean he or she hates black people. That's crazy. That's an insane speculation. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but I do believe the blaming of people, assuming everyone who's a Star Wars fan thinks the same. Unfortunately, from an optics standpoint, I think that's hurting the show. Not the show's quality, but I think the viewing of the show. And if you're Disney and your job is to promote shows and garner an audience, I don't know if this is the best way to go about it. The Acolyte overall is a 5 out of 10. There are some things I like and other stuff I don't. This is not the best Star Wars, nor is it the worst. I still believe The Last Jedi holds that achievement, at least in terms of theme and character. Personally, I think Disney, they need to focus on quality. They need to just stop making live action shows and plans for movies. They need to restructure LucasFilm. LucasFilm needs a new culture. They need writers who want to win. So as always, I'm your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff. And if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button. And also the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite news on nerdyisms and all that beloved Star Wars insanity that is going on in this world. But now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on The Acolyte? What are your thoughts on the first 2 episodes? Do you agree with my take? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until next video, peace. Giggity goo.